Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Good morning. How are you today? I know this wasn't too planned ahead, but like I said, sometimes I just do it at the time I feel it. Okay. So sometimes I just do that, instead of, and if it's not like a planned collab or something like that, but just my thoughts about certain things, they come to me and then I just get on the mic so I can help you guys see what I see just using basic mathematics, right? Now, yesterday's collaboration with Denzel Napoleon Rodriguez, he is a guy that, good guy too, man. Good guy, good, bright guy, smart dude, 24 years old. He's going to be a multimillionaire before you know it, if he's not already, right? But he supports what's called velocity banking, right? So we had a collaboration yesterday. And the premise, the premise of velocity banking is to borrow, right? They tell you get lines of credit, extend your credit card, see if you can get higher limits. It's all on the premise of borrowing. Borrowing your way out of debt is going to somehow get you faster out of debt. It makes absolutely no mathematical sense, right? So I brought Denzel on because I really wanted him to try to explain it to me. I really did. I really wanted him to explain it to me so it could, even though I know mathematically it can never make sense, right? But I just want to see how he explains it, how the followers, the subscribers come over. Because in the end, it really is getting both people to zero, but in very different ways. But anyway, and it ended very well. It ended very well. But I'm giving you guys the insight of what I was doing in that yesterday's video. So when you hear me say what I'm going to say, you get to go back and watch and be like, oh, yeah, that's right. He did say that, and they did still continue to do this, right? Now, I learned quite a few things from that collaboration. What's up, Quentin? From that collaboration yesterday, because it was just amazing. It was just amazing to hear. And there was a couple of things I wanted to point out when I forget who I was talking to, but I was saying something like, to pay off debt, paying off debt is a pain. I mean, it's a pain you feel when you have to pay off the stuff, pay back the money that you already spent. That's very painful. Okay. It's very painful, right? And I forget who I was talking to. I think it was Marcus. And he was like, I don't want to feel that pain. Right. And right there, when he said that, I thought to myself, that's why they're doing it. They're trying to run from that pain, from paying all that money back with their own paychecks. They're trying to lessen the feel of the pain by borrowing money because people feel very differently when they borrow money. It's not the same pain as spending your own savings in your own bank account, your own money. It's a different kind of pain, right? It was like ding, 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 ding. That's it. That's it, right? And then as we're talking through the video, they start talking about saving on interest rates, right? They're like, hey, but if you do this, you'll save interest rate on that. They're fighting over who is the better master. Instead of stopping and thinking, you know why you guys are fighting over interest rates? Because you have loans. That's why you're fighting over the best interest rate. All you're really doing is fighting over who's the better master. Hey, this credit union over here this master over here only charges 1.5%, while that master over there charges 25%. So they're fighting over whose master is better. Notice how I couldn't just come in and say, hey, the reason why you're paying interest because those are loans. That's money borrowed. If you borrow the money, that means you're in a negative. And I want you to pay close attention to when I always say, every time they get done talking, I always say, but is my math right? Have you noticed how they always have to say yes? Have you noticed that? They always have to say yes. I believe it was Billy. that was got on the mic, right? And he was pretty pumped up, right? And I want you to notice this. There's a part in there that you pay close attention to. When I was keeping him on the path of accepting of my math being right, I want you to notice how resilient he was trying to be to just to tell me, yes, my math was correct. See, I want you to notice how he's aiming at his this frustration towards me, right? And it's not even me, it's mathematics. I just want to go, hey, Billy, I didn't invent math. I'm just telling you what is. That's it. You see what I'm saying? What's up, Bill Wills? It's the pain of paying back that debt. When they add up their total debt, because like there's many people scared to even add up their debt, scared to even add it up, let alone pay it back. Every penny, the first thing that goes through a person's mind, oh my God, you know how many hours I got to work? You know how many this and that and sacrifice. Yes, that's all. That's everything you have to do to get out of debt. That's exactly right. Because once you feel that pain, that's it. You ain't never gonna feel that pain again. That's never gonna happen. But velocity banking, it's like I want you to listen closely to what they say too. Like they believe they're getting over on the bank because the bank is not making as much in interest and all that stuff. They really believe that. The whole principle of velocity banking is to borrow money. Why would the banks not love that? If I own the bank, I would love velocity banking. I'll put a velocity banking plaque on my wall so velocity bankers know, hey, this is the place to bring your money right here to get loans, to increase your credit, uh, long lines of credit. I give you all that. Yeah, do whatever you want to. Hey, man, don't even tell me what you're going to do with the money. All you got to do is sign here. Good luck. Other people's money. And this was so crazy. This was crazy. If you tell a velocity banker right now, if you say, hey, why don't you just use your own money to pay off your debt? You know what they have to say to you? It's because I have no money. That's why I can't do it. That's the real reason why I can't pay off my own debt. It's because I don't even have the money. That's why I'm using velocity banking. And and I want you to pay close attention to when they say things like, "Hey, this is a faster way out of debt." Right? They say that. Nothing's faster than your paycheck. Velocity banking can't speed up your paycheck from your job. If you're working a regular job, velocity banking cannot speed up. When you have an hourly job, time is applied to you. Now, you're probably thinking, what does that mean? Well, you don't own your time because you're at work. You promise that 8 hours a day, 10 hours a day to an entity, to a job. So that time applies to you. So unless you can get your boss to speed up your paycheck, nothing's getting you out of debt faster. That's a facade. You think you're going to get out of debt faster by borrowing? I'm going to say that one more time. You believe you're going to get out of debt faster by borrowing money. That doesn't even make any sense. Mathematical sense, that is. They're running from the pain. SMD family members know, we know, hey, yeah, you can't get around that. Yeah, you're going to have to feel that pain. Yes, you are. There's a whole, you know what? My brother, he's in the process of doing it right now, right? And he's just telling me these pains he's going through just to get out of debt. It is funny. It is funny to hear his stories. He is telling me the pains of him just to get out of debt. All the stuff they do to fool you when you try to pay things off early. That some of the people try to they don't put it to principal. They add it to interest and push out your payments. And people in debt don't even know they're doing that kind of stuff, right? So you got to call them and say, "Hey, man, don't do that. I'm trying to pay my car off. Here's this extra money. Make sure it's going to principal." And they coming back, hey, our software doesn't do that. That was a mistake. So now you got to call back 3 or 4 times just to make sure the money goes where it's supposed to go so he can get out of debt. Those are the pains. You think people that borrow money, they're going to go through all that? No, because they don't feel the kind of pain. It's not really their money. What you think the percentage rate? You better believe it's pretty low, but what do you think the percentage rate of people successfully using velocity banking to actually get out of debt? What you think that is? You think I probably say 5% maybe, if that, maybe 10. By the way, we'll never know those numbers, okay? Those numbers you'll never see them on some chart somewhere. Because how would anybody even collect that? How would anybody collectively collect that type of information? There is really no way to check it, but you can from the beginning. If it doesn't make mathematical sense, it doesn't make financial sense either. When I'm talking like you can also hear what has been conditioned in people's minds just to just to keep them spending, right? The possibilities of something happening, right? It is just amazing to hear a person just make up anything that goes in their mind that could possibly happen that will prevent them from just saving up the money and buying something themselves. This will happen, that'll happen. I heard this will happen. That has it happened to you? No, but I heard, and it's like you can just hear it. Quentin says, I'm still trying to figure out how can you get out of debt when you continue to borrow money. You can't. But Quentin, listen, they think they are, but they have no idea how they're extending that time. They have no idea what they're doing. They're paying. Listen, they're actually paying to get out of debt. They're paying to get out of debt. Not only the money, not only their own money, but extra money due to the interest from the borrow money on the loans. They don't even know that. You just want to go, you really believe you can get out of debt by borrowing money? You mean that doesn't make sense to you? Come on, you're joking, right? Here, I'll show you with mathematics. Notice, and I want you guys to pay attention to because there's going to be more of these, promise you. Every time they're done with their whole long spiel, you know the only thing I'm going to say, but is my math right? I'm going to force them to say yes every single time so you guys can hear it. What it feels like to live in my world today. People walk around making no mathematical sense and they're selling it. They're selling it. They're actually selling it. Trust me. Trust you me. I know my approach is not very profitable at first. At first, yeah. But I guarantee you this, it is the strongest. What I sell is undeniable. What I sell is never wrong, ever, when it comes to the finance game, ever. You know why? Because anybody that ever challenges me, I'm going to come back to the same question each and every time. Is my math right? It will always be yes. That's what I sell. I could show you on paper. Hey, man, you follow this plan I give you, this is where you'll be. You'll be at zero. Follow this plan. Yeah, it's gonna hurt when you pay that debt off. Ooh, it's gonna sting. It's gonna sting. You're gonna look at that large negative number and start calculating all the hours you must work to pay that debt off. It's gonna run, all that's gonna run through your mind. It's all part of the process. Why? So you never forget again. The pain of paying back that money is to make sure you never do that again, ever. You can't fix that pain by borrowing money. You're still doing the same thing. I can just hear them speaking right now. Oh yeah, man, once I'm out of debt, now I got options. Now I got money in the bank and I got lines of credit just in case if something's going to happen. I just want to go, will you stop saying that? Why don't you have your own money for just in case something happens? How about that? It just sticks them. They're just like, well, uh, well, you're not supposed to use your own money. That's what everybody in the debt. The only people in the debt matrix say that thing. You know why people in the debt matrix say OPM, other people's money? Because they have no money. They're in a financial negative. That's why they're using other people's money, because they have no choice to use other people's money. So velocity bankers, if you're listening to me, hey man, stop using velocity banker right now and just use your own money to get out of debt. You can't, because you're in debt. You have no choice but to use other people's money because you're in a mathematical financial negative. The excuses, man. Oh my God. I mean, they are fighting over lower interest. Whose interest better? Save your money here. They're fighting over who's the better master. Oh, credit unions, this bank over here. They're good doing this. This bank over. I'm just like, whoa, dang. You guys are bragging about your masters? Mm, mm, mm. Goodness gracious. You can't even interject and say, "Hey, you know why you guys are fighting over interest, right? Because you're borrowing money." The only way to get Quentin says the only way to get out of debt is to stop borrowing money and attack the debt. There's no other way. There is no other way. Humble Home says pronounced E-meth contracted from 539 stability figuratively. Certainly truth. Oh, okay. I see what you're saying. Stability, figuratively, certainly truth, truthworthiness, assured. Mm. Established faithful, right, sure, true, wow. Veridity, the origin, the word math. Wow, Humble Homestead. Thanks for looking that up, man. I've never actually looked that up. Hmm. Damn, that's powerful. Man. Now you guys see that, SMD family? You guys see that? This is why I sound the way I sound on the mic. Now I know people that don't know me, they'll come over here and say, "Oh, who is he? He sounds so cocky, and he ain't nobody. He ain't no multimillionaire, trillionaire, gazillionaire. Who is he? I ain't heard of him." Right? But they still hear my voice. They're like, they have to come back to my voice and say, "Why is he so sure?" Because my math is always right. You see the true meaning of math on the screen there? That's why I sound the way I sound. Joseph says, so many, oh my God, so many excuses. I mean, when I was talking to Marcus and I said, hey, man, an engine's not going to cost $30,000 to fix. I mean, come on, you just know that, right? We're just talking about a basic engine, the standard, whatever trucking engine that is. It's not $30,000. It's not. He still wouldn't just say, "Hey, LJ, you're right. It would have been smarter to finance $15,000 instead of 30,000." And you know what? This is what I've noticed too. You guys got to make sure you pay close attention to close. Excuse me, close attention to when they say like they say this person got a $30,000 student loan. I mean, not student loan, but car loan, right? Come to find out, it's not $30,000. The whole entire loan came up to $45,000. They were talking about the $30,000 sale price. Nobody gets a finance car on sale. Nobody. So the true price was $45,000. $15,000 difference between the 30 that they told us. You know what I'm saying? You got to pay close attention. So when they say, "Hey, they got a car loan of this," you go say, "Hey, whoa, wait a minute. How many months did they get that car loan for? 72 months. Okay, flip all the way back to that paperwork so we can treat it, so we can see the true loan price." You got to catch them because people in debt believe the sale price that they see on the window of a car. They believe they're actually getting that price. No, you're not. Nobody gets a finance car on sale. Flip to the back of that 72-month, 84-month paperwork, and that's your price. That's your loan price. Because remember, you finance taxes too. And then somehow velocity banking is going to get them out of this. It doesn't make any sense. What's up, Norvell? Amina, hello. Quentin says the most engine will cost you for 18 wheelers about 15,000. That's what I figured. That's why I said. That's why I just cut it in half. I was like, okay, it's not going to be no more than that. You know what I'm saying? It ain't going to be no 30,000. What, you dropping a Bentley engine in? You replacing your? You know what I'm saying? But you know what it was though. You know what it was, Quentin. He just didn't want to say. It's very difficult to say, yeah, you're right. I could have financed 15,000 instead of 45,000. He financed 45,000, not 30,000, $45,000. And Velocity Banking is going to get him out of debt. Oh my God, you should have heard how many excuses he was coming up. Oh my God, it was just endless. I was like, Marcus, man, that they don't even exist. None of that stuff exists. That's just in your head, right? You know, you're just saying that, right? Couldn't change his mind. No matter what, no matter any solution, you notice, no matter any solution I was trying to come up with, he just was not listening. He absolutely refused. And right now, he's telling me, listen to me, he's telling me that his finances are better than ever now. They're this, that, this, and that. I doubt it. I doubt it very much. I doubt that very much. There's a certain way people who are debt free speak. I'm gonna reiterate this so people understand. There's a certain way that debt-free people speak. They say certain things and they definitely don't say certain things ever. Now, when you've been in debt all your life, people in debt don't know they speak debt. They have no idea the language of debt-free even exists. How do I know this? All you got to do is ask them, have you ever been debt free? No, they don't know. See what I'm saying? If they tell you no, or they tell you something like, that you're always going to have debt, you're going to die with debt, they don't realize only people in debt say those types of things. Even when you're standing in front of them and saying, hey, by the way, I'm debt free, they're still not going to believe you. They're still not going to believe you. They're going to think you won the lottery, somebody paid your way, at whatever. They come up with more excuses. It's endless. The excuses are endless. Kids, child support, student loan debt. They should have told us this. They didn't tell us that. The percentage rate was higher than this and that. They all have excuses, all of them. That's why they're being taken advantage of. This is why people in debt are sold quick ways out of debt, because a quick way out of debt doesn't even exist. This is why they're selling them a dream. They're selling them something that don't even exist. Every time you hear somebody say, oh, this is the fastest way out of debt, you're like, what do you do? What did you do? Speed up your paycheck? You do know all your money, all your money comes from only you, right? You do know that, right? So unless you can speed up your paycheck, what are you talking? There is no fast way out of debt. You want to speed up? Work more hours. Work 100 hours a week. That'll speed it up. But other than that, there's no other way to speed it up. You speed it up. Quentin says, so markers turn a $15,000 engine into a $45,000 cost. Totally did it. And you know what he said to me? Without velocity banking, he wouldn't have been able to do that. It's so, you know what? It amazes me to hear it. When I hear people talk like that, thanks to velocity banking, I wouldn't have had the amount, the line of credit, whatever, to get that $45,000 truck, when he could have only financed $15,000 for a brand new engine in his truck, rebuilt, whatever. Sharif says the world is much quieter when you're deaf. Oh man, Sharif, you ain't joking, man. It is quiet. Now, you newcomers over to becoming debt free, it's going to be a lot of noise. Okay. When you first come over, you're going to hear all the stuff that you used to talk about, say, even said out loud, right? You're going to hear it all the time. You're going to be like, you're just going to be amazed that you used to say that out loud in public, right? But after a while, that'll calm down. That'll calm down. And then you pretty much don't even hear people in debt anymore. They just say a couple of words, you'll hear debt talk, and then you just tune them out. If they're talking about finances, and then you hear them say something that only people in debt say, then you tune them out. You know, if somebody, for example, if somebody's giving you financial advice about how to save for retirement, or annuity funds or stock fund, all you got to do is say, hey man, you still got your student loan? Yeah. And if their student loan is older than their children, you got to think to yourself, that doesn't make any financial sense. And they're giving you financial advice. You stop right there and you tune it out. You're like, wait a minute, that doesn't make sense to keep to go to school for 4 years, but keep your college loans for 20, and then you're giving me financial advice? No, you're not. Then you tune them out. Joseph Brown says the fear of not having your own money is the reason he borrowed the money, but that fear should wake up. Should you should wake you should wake you up to have the money for emergencies of your own. You know what? Joseph? It's like this. I don't. Now, when he's doing that stuff, I'm not really like blaming Marcus. Okay, I'm not saying, "Hey, man, you should know better. You're dumb." I'm not saying that at all. This is what I'm saying. The conditioning is strong. I know why he's saying that. I know why he's saying that, because the $15,000 sound like it was all the money he had in his life. I get it. And if he spent it all to fix his truck, he'd be like, "Oh man, I'd be broke." He doesn't know that would should have been the best thing he could have ever done. He would have had a paid engine with no debt. But now he went out and got a $45,000 truck. So this is what he doesn't know. So let's say this. Let's go like this. Let's do something here. So, calculator, where we at? Okay, just a second. Okay. So now he he said he panicked and said, "You know what? I don't want to spend all my money," because I asked him, "Did you have any debt?" I'm just going to go by using his words. So said like he had no debt and $15,000 in the bank, which is another thing I highly doubt because they said they had bad credit. Those two things don't mix, but they don't know that. They don't know bad credit. They just don't know those two things don't mix. All right. So he says, I'm not going to spend that money. So he goes and spends $45,000 on a truck. Now, what Marcus doesn't know is that $15,000 he believes that's in his bank account still, it doesn't even exist. You know why? He's now negative $30,000 in the hole. 15,000 minus 40,000 or 45,000 is negative 30,000. He doesn't even know he's now in debt double what he physically had in a bank. He's in debt double that now. Mathematically, 15,000, the money he has, the cash he sees that he believes is there, minus $45,000 he just spent on a truck, that's negative 30,000. Poof, the money is gone in his bank account. But since he can see numbers on the screen, but he can go to an ATM and punch in some numbers and some cash will come out, he believes the money's there. That's how they do it. He didn't want to feel the pain of dropping that 15 grand to fix his truck. He didn't want to feel that pain. Mm-mm. So what do? They borrow money so they feel like the pain is less, but no, it's doubled. 30 grand in the hole for that truck, man. And then, you know what's crazy? Even if I told him like that, he still wouldn't believe me. Still wouldn't believe me. And I'd be like, "Hey, Marcus, but is my math right? Yeah, it's right, but you don't believe it, right? No." For some reason, this is what's crazy when I do the math. If I put 15,000 minus 45,000 equal negative 30,000, I would look at a person and say, "Is my math right?" They would say, "Yes, your math is right." But for some reason, when you put dollar signs in front of 15,000, dollar signs in front of 45,000, the math somehow changes for some reason. When no dollar signs are in front of the numbers, people believe the math if I show them. They're like, "Oh, okay, that's true." But when I put dollar signs in front of those exact same numbers, somehow it doesn't equal the same. Something changes for people in debt. Something changes. Well, it's not that straightforward. It's not that black and white. Oh, this is when the excuses start coming up, and coming out, and then you just got to kick back and just listen, right? You just got to listen to them. I mean, they come up with a million of them. Then right after that million and one, I'll say, "Hey, man, but is my math right?" They're gonna say yes again. And then they're gonna come up with a million more excuses to why it's not that easy or why it's not that black and white or whatever. People in debt always believe there's some outside entity, some kind of outside business that's gonna take them take them to the next level financially. They don't even realize these places always talk about the future, right? Oh man, what about this? What about your retirement? What about in the future you want to pay for your kids? What about in the future you want to do this, right? The future doesn't even exist. That's why they're selling it to them. Fast ways out of debt don't even exist. The future doesn't even exist. You're creating your future right now in the present moment. So if you don't even know how much debt you're in, guess what your future is going to be like? The same. You're going to be in debt having not a clue of how much debt you're in. You're creating your future now. This is why they're selling it to you because it doesn't even exist. It's amazing to watch too. It's amazing. It's amazing to watch. You know how good it feels to be on this side of debt, man, and see everything? Everything. Do you know how good it feels to know I'm going to be just challenge after challenge and know I'm never going to lose? You guys hear it in my voice, SMD family. Listen, anybody that goes against me and don't believe or whatever, don't believe, you know how good it feels to always know in any arena I step in, I'm never going to lose. Do you guys know how good that feels? And you guys know I'm not even doing anything fancy. I know it's blowing you guys' minds. You, my followers, my new followers, I know it's blowing your mind. You're like, man, he is climbing to the top just using basic math that we all learned in grade school. That is it. I'm about to be a multi-millionaire using basic math, and I'm gonna show you guys. I know you're like, no, he's not using basic math. Yes, I am. Look at Gabriel, 19 years old, 19 years old, talking about his brain cells were hurting yesterday. 19. Oh, I wish to God I knew this at 19. Let me tell you something, Gabriel. Nobody in the world would have stopped me. Nobody. Man, you're gonna be walking through this world like Neo. I promise you, Gabriel. Like Neo in the Dead Matrix. You already know right now. You can see you're trying to. I said when you got on the call yesterday, you were I could hear the confusion in your voice, but that doesn't make sense. They don't even know why you're getting frustrated, Gabriel, because they didn't hear a word you were saying. That's why you're getting frustrated. They can't hear you. Quentin says it's no excuse for getting into debt for a vehicle. Any vehicle, I mean any vehicle can be fixed if you have cash. Any vehicle can, of course, unless that bad boy is smashed and totaled. That's the only way. Something going wrong with that engine, it's always cheaper than a new car, always, and always will be. Sharif says either some people in debt enjoying being a slave or they don't know they are. No, they don't know they're slaves. If people knew, I mean, you can even listen. When I tell you guys this is another language they can't hear, you can walk up to a person in debt and say, hey, you know, if you don't pay off your debt, you're going to be a slave until you're dead. They will look at you like you're crazy. What do you mean a slave? I'm not no slave. Look at my car. Look at my house. Look at my this. Look at my that. They don't know they're slaves. Then you got to walk away. And then you got to come back to the channel and say, hey, LJ was right. Yeah, I keep telling you guys that. You're only going to frustrate yourself. Stop worrying about what they know, what they don't know. Don't worry about that. Start getting out here and killing it now. Now you know what you know. You do the opposite of the majority. Anything to do with finances, you do the opposite of the majority. The opposite. Never cheat on your taxes. Follow the rules to the T. Look at them. And if you follow the rules, there's another way to get around taxes the right way. Okay? Follow the rules. That's it. Joseph says it's negative 30 with a dollar sign. There you go for the people in debt. See what I'm saying? There it is. But when you put that dollar sign in there, Joseph, they're going to come up with an excuse. LJ, when you ask Marcus, why didn't he have $15,000 fix his truck? He really never answered the question. No, he didn't. I already know the answer. That's why I'm Neo. I already know the answer. He didn't have it. Nobody wants to say that. People in debt know, they don't even know that's the best thing to say. I don't have it. If they went out and said, you know, every time there's something I want, I don't have the cash for it, I'm gonna say to myself, I don't have it. Till one day they're gonna stop, they're gonna get tired of saying, I don't have it, and say, why I don't have it? Why is that? Why don't I have it? And then maybe a light will go off in their head at that moment. But until then, oh man, I love it over here. Love it. Gabriel says that Billy guy was really heated and in his feelings. Yeah, it's like, Billy, what are you doing? Why are you mad at math? I don't get it. You mad at 1 + 1 = 2? Why are you upset about that? I didn't invent math. You see how reluctant he was just to tell me I was right in my mathematics? Why are you reluctant to say math is right? I don't get it. Global Sync says there's risk in borrowing using home equity lines of credit or any lines of credit which are outlined in the terms of service. These loans can be called by the lenders at any time, which increase risk. Yeah, they don't know that. They're so focused on what they've been sold, a fast way out of debt. They've been sold something that doesn't even exist. Doesn't even exist. You can't speed up math. Math is just math. Joseph says Quentin Cameron said because he didn't know he's talking to Quentin. Okay, gotcha. Said he didn't know if it was gonna cost him 15 or 30 to fix the car. He only had 15 to save him. Yeah, 15 or 30, but also he's telling us that the new truck costs 30. I'm thinking 30,000 for an engine. You can get a brand new truck for 30. That didn't make any type of sense. And I was like, okay, man, you're just talking. You're coming up with another excuse. Gabriel says, man, I want a $3,000 car and I don't have cash yet. Imagine financing a $45,000 car. Yep. And Gabriel, people do that every day. 45,000. Hell, cars are up to like 60, 70,000. You talk about it counts on what kind of car you get. Just when you see somebody drive a Tesla, don't think they're rich because they drive a Tesla. Okay. If it's a financed Tesla, the reason why they finance is because they didn't have the money to buy it. So don't be impressed by people's cars, clothes, anything. That's a facade. It blows my mind, man. I'm telling you guys follow my plan. You get with me, consultation, whatever, right? You just follow my videos, whatever, right? You get on the other side. This is how powerful it is, man. I'm never wrong. And you guys that know, you can hear me. You know I'm not bragging because I'm just talking about mathematics. You know I'm not bragging. You can just hear them. You can just see the people in the comments trying to just defend it. Just trying to defend it. I mean, again, they don't even hear themselves speak. They're fighting over whose master's better by the interest rate at this bank and the interest rate at that bank. It's like, if you guys just pay it off with your own money, you don't have to worry about any of that stupid nonsense. Dave Ramsey's way will take you forever. No, it'll take you as long as you want it. If you want it done faster, you work harder. If you don't, you don't, and it goes slow. If you don't want to work hard to get it paid off, it'll go slow. But if you want it fast, you'll do triple shifts, second jobs, you'll do everything to understand those are your slave papers. It's hard to see, especially when it's your friends and family, man. And then you come up with these when these companies be coming up with these things, velocity banking, infinite banking, they come up with these names that make it sound like it's just, oh my God. I get it. Now, business wise, don't get me wrong. I get why they use those type of names. But let me tell you guys something. I guarantee you, the banks started velocity banking. They did. They had to have. They had to have. It makes total sense. If you can convince people to get loans, to get out of debt, oh my God, that is, and then come up with some scheme about percentages. You'll save money on this type of percentage loan, whatever, right? Whatever, right? Whatever they think of in their head, as long as they understand that they have to borrow to do it, man, that is the most brilliant plan one of the most brilliant plans I've ever heard in my life. And they sell it. Because just listen closely to the velocity banking stories. Oh, I came over here, my credit was crap. This and that. They always let you know that their credit was horrible. What does that tell you? Bad money management. That's why their credit is horrible. That's why. So you think are they going to all of a sudden magically come over here with bad credit, get lines of credit, and magically, even if they did, even a possibility that they could, right? They're going to magically use it correctly? No, they're not. You know what they're going to do? They're going to go shopping. They're going to start thinking about the things they could get with that line of credit instead of paying off, going through velocity banking. Guess what? They're going to go get deeper in debt. Crazy, man. It's you better believe the banks came up with this, man. That is brilliant, man. And I salute, hey man, don't get me wrong. I salute the people making money off velocity banking. Hey, congratulations. I ain't knocking your business plan. It's cool. Hey, whatever. Do your thing, man. It wouldn't be America. It wouldn't be America without it because the economy runs on debt. So, hey, congratulations. I want you also to pay close attention to how people in velocity banking love to compare themselves with multimillionaires while they're in debt. They're these people, they compare themselves like Grant Cardone. I mean, they're so far millions, and you're still getting out of debt and you're trying to compare yourself to them. You have no idea what they're really saying on those stages. Those people in debt don't really understand how that works. They don't know what they're saying. They don't people in debt don't know that rich people like Grant are not talking about people in not are not talking to people in debt. When Grant says, "Oh man, I borrow millions in debt to use debt to buy properties," he's not talking about you guys. He's talking a whole different business type of model. You're thinking with your debt mind. Oh, I'm gonna do the same as Grant, and then you go and borrow some ridiculous amount of money in your name, and then you think you're gonna do what? What kind of loan did you get? I don't know. I only had to put 3.5% down. Oh, okay. You got one of those loans. Gotcha. All right. Joseph Brown says one lady was like, you didn't listen to his story. He was injured. That's why he couldn't pay it on time. He couldn't pay on time. The bank doesn't care about your story. Masters want their money. I know. You notice how I did read that when she said that. I was like, why is she telling me her feelings? Why does she think I need to listen to his feelings or what happened to him physically? Their masters don't care about their injuries. The masters want their money. Now, if you had your own money, you could kick back and relax. You wouldn't even care. But if you're injured, you could lay down and do whatever you want to do when you own your own time. But when you have a master, you can't do that. They don't care about your injury. I know you think they should. Oh my God, they should care that I broke my foot. They don't care. Where's their payments that you promised them? You promised them, like when you go get a car, you promised the bank your next 72 months of your future earnings. You promised it to the bank. They don't care if you got hurt. They don't care. That's not their problem. You guys better stop mixing your feelings in there. When you guys type stuff like that and you start talking about your feelings, yeah, you're in debt because only people in debt mix their feelings with their money. Sharif says, L, what's the biggest change you noticed about your life since you've been debt free? Time doesn't matter. That's going to be a tough one for you. It's going to be tough for you to see the tool that time is. Time is a tool. We don't need it. It doesn't exist until you need it. That's going to be a tough one for you. And the only way and I'm not suggesting this, I'm just telling you this is the only way I knew time. This is the only way I could figure out time was a tool. Okay. When I quit my job, when I didn't work for a year, I noticed that I didn't know what day it was anymore. I rarely knew what time it was. I rarely knew, if a holiday was coming up or the weekend was here, things like that, right? Because time didn't matter because I owned my time. So whenever I had an appointment, time was important. Whenever I had a dinner, someplace to use that uses time, you know what I'm saying? Appointments, meeting somebody, stuff like that. But outside of that, I didn't really care. And I noticed that more and more. And then I started asking other people like myself. They're like, yeah, I never know what time it is either. I don't never know what day it is. I don't care really if it's Friday or Monday or Sunday or Wednesday or hump day. You don't even care about, you don't even care that you don't look at weekends the same. It's just another day. Ooh, I'm so happy it's Friday. And I mean, I'm so happy it's Saturday and Sunday. When you get out of debt and your time is yours, you don't care what day it is. It's just Saturday. You know, during the week it's nice because everybody's at work and you can travel around easier while everybody's at work, and then you just stay off the roads around 5 o'clock. I'm done, get all my stuff done during the day, while everybody's at work. Then I get home, then they can deal with all that traffic and stuff. So it's just, time is the biggest, most, like, for example, right now, I am trying to figure out, and it's nervous and it's the unknowing, but I'm trying to take time out of my money. And when I say time out of my money, when you have a job, time is part of your money because you're there 8 hours, and for 8 hours you get this amount of money. When you take time out of your money, that means you take a minute or two to make something, and then that that thing made will sell repeatedly without me doing a thing. Now time is now out of my money. See what I'm saying? When I do one-on-ones, time is involved in my money. So if I say 45 minutes for $60 for 45 minutes of my time, now 45 minutes is $60. That's because time is in place. I'm removing time from my money now. This is the final step. Or the next, I'm not going to say final step. I don't know the final step. This is the next step. We're moving time. And the only way I could feel that is by not having a job. I was like, let me put it this way. I remember when I first quit, even though I was debt free and I had money in the bank, I was still nervous because I worked for the last 40 years of my life, right? Or 35 or whatever. Right? So the first month or two, I was nervous about, what about my degree? I'm going to lose my computer skills if I don't keep fresh up on the certificates, blah, blah, right? And then after about 4 or 5 months, I started getting used to it. I stopped reaching out, trying to get a job. I was filling out apps because I was getting nervous. And what about retirement and all this other stuff, right? And then about 8 months, I stopped thinking about that because I was applying and I wasn't getting any jobs. But I didn't look at it like, oh, I was getting nervous. You know what I started saying to myself? That's on purpose. There's a reason. Honestly, I'm telling you guys this. I started saying to myself, the reason why I'm not getting jobs, because there's a reason for it. There's a reason why. I kept saying that instead of saying, "Oh my God, I'm never going to get a job. I'm getting too old or whatever." Right? You start thinking of the excuses. You're like, "No, there's a reason why I'm not getting this job because that's never happened to me before. Why is it happening now?" Okay, there's a reason, and the reason was so I could feel what it was like to remove time as a need in my life. It's a double-edged sword. Now, once you feel it, and then it's my driver now. Once I've felt time removed as a requirement in my life, now my passion comes from never having to do that ever again. Meaning get a job, a traditional job, to where I have to be somewhere through the week, 40 hours a week, 8 hours a day, et cetera, et cetera. Because now I know I'm locked. Right there, time controls my money. Right there. That's if I go back to if I had to go back to work, I would. Don't get me wrong, but that's what I would be thinking. The time right now, I'm selling the time of my life for this 8 hours a day is for whatever this is per hour, per year, whatever, right? And it's not going to change unless they say I can get upgraded to make the time of my life worth more because they said I was good working there for 5 years. It just doesn't make any sense to me anymore. Nobody dictates what my time in my life is worth for over the next 5 years but me. That's the biggest one, man. And I'm right now, I'm on the biggest one right now, just removing time from my money. I've removed it from my life. Now I need to remove it from my money. Once I remove time from my money, it's unlimited from that point on. People in debt will never understand what I'm just telling you. You can go to somebody in debt and say, "Hey, do you know how to remove time from your money?" They'll be like, "What are you talking about?" Gabriel says, Brown, I have 1,400 in my bank account. LJ, Gabriel says, LJ, can I finance $1,000 car? You sure can. Yeah. If you want to, go right ahead. Yeah. Okay. Joseph Brown says, Gabriel, it's time to borrow 3,000 so you can cash flow to 1,465 now. I know, right? Oh my God, that was good, Joseph. I like that one. That was good. That was good. That's right, Gabriel. Hey, Gabriel, you got that right? Go borrow 3,000 so you can cash flow that 1,465. That is awesome. That way you could pay the car off faster, right? Yeah, right. Right. You could pay the car off faster if you cash flow that 14, borrow 3,000, cash flow to 1,465. You could pay off that car loan faster somehow, some mathematical way, I guess. I don't know. Who knows? I don't know, but it works somehow. Oh, it's so funny to think about. This is what I'm talking about. Can you guys see why I'm gonna be a multi-billionaire? Notice how I made up that word? Because that's what I chose it to be. It's unlimited. So I'm just making it up. Tell somebody in debt, they'll think, "Ooh, that's got to be a lot of money." Yeah, it is. It's a lot of money. Know why? Because I said it's a lot of money. What's up, Jennifer? Welcome. What's up, Derek? Just reviewing the velocity banking video yesterday. It was good. It was good. I mean, as SMD family members, you guys were quiet. And I was thinking, you know why they're quiet? Because they're just being amazed. They're like, man, everything LJ been saying is true. They're saying it. They're saying everything LJ was saying. Yes, they don't. And SMD family, they don't hear themselves saying it. Remember when I told Marcus, I said, "Hey man, you know what you're avoiding? The pain of paying off that debt." You see what he did? He totally agreed with me. He was like, "Nah, man, no, I don't want to feel that pain. I don't want to feel that pain." And then I turned to you guys and say, see what they're running from? He's saying it out loud and don't even know he's saying it. You can tell him he's saying it. He still won't know why he's saying it. You can say, "Hey, Marcus, did you hear what you just said? You're running from debt because you don't want to feel the pain." He'd be like, "Yeah, yeah." And then it'll just go in one ear right out the other. You'd be like, "But Marcus, that's the answer." You're saying the answer right now. You're saying the answer. because you got to remember, most people fear that pain, right? This is and to answer, this is another thing I wanted to tell you, Sharif. This is the biggest thing I've learned too, also, Sharif. Fear is the way to go. Don't run from fear. You go say, "Why is fear there?" And then you turn towards and say, "Hey, fear, why are you here?" He's not fear. The word fear is crazy, but I only can use fear because fear describes it, right? The word fear triggers the fear in a person. It triggers fear, but they don't understand fear is not meant to be feared. Fear is to tell you which way to go. So now when fear comes down, and don't get me wrong, I'm still working on it. But I'm aware of it now. Okay. I don't let it consume me and just make me run from it. I just turn to it and say, "Why are you here?" Now don't get me wrong, sometimes it'll shut me down sometimes, or no, not shut me down. It will make me prolong something that I need to do for some reason. That it does that to me sometimes, but I'm getting better. I'm getting better with it. Okay. But I don't run from it anymore. I say, "Okay, why are you here? You bugging me? You won't go away, right?" Because it never goes away, right? You're like, "Okay, you're not going away. You no matter what job I go to, no matter where I go, you're still here. So what do you want?" It's basically saying, "Hey man, if you come this way, Try to get over it, and whatever it is that I'm trying to show you. And on the other side of me is your new life. It's your new life over here. Jennifer says, I needed to feel that pain. Yes. Tell them, Jennifer, it's a necessary part of the process. But people don't even understand. Like, think about it. Think about it when you were in debt, right? The fear of just even knowing how much debt you're in. Listen, the fear of even knowing how much debt you're in. But in reality, fear saying, hey, there's something here you need to know. That's what fear is really saying. Hey, man, hey, whoa, where you going? I know society has told you to fear my name, but no, no, you come this way. Look, come here, come here, come here. There's something you need to know. Please figure out what this is right here. I'm showing you something. You got to figure it out. It's something very important. That's why you keep running from it. And then one day I woke up and said, okay, what do you want? Then it said, get out of debt. You're in debt. Once I got out of debt, I was like, oh, fear is your friend. Yeah, Sharif, fear is your friend. Thank you for putting it better. Fear is actually your friend. It's not nothing to be scared of. It's your friend. But society has deemed fear an enemy or to be something to be scared of or something, right? They don't look at fear. Hey, man, that fear is your friend. No, every time, like right now, it's like as I'm growing this business now, you got to remember, once I took this leap, nothing's promised. Nothing is promised. Nothing. Once you take this leap, nothing's promised. There's no net. There's no safety net. There's no, hey, I promise if you take this leap, you're going to be successful. No, that is all up to me. And it always has been. Now that I'm out of the debt matrix and owning my own time, it always has been up to me. Yeah, you hear it when you're in the debt matrix, but you don't know what that means. You really don't. You really don't know what that means. You just think all up to me. I got to put my mind. No, that means everything. No job. Everything that your survival is 100% up to you. Put it in your hands. Can you imagine the fear? Like when I say I quit my job, you can listen to this. You can listen to this, my voice right now, and say, no, listen to my voice and think about this. Think about quitting your job today, just getting up and say, I quit, right? Now I want you to grab that fear, everything that ran through your body in just that 2 seconds, right? My job, my this, where I live, my whole life would change. I would lose my car. I can't do this. What about healthcare insurance? All those fears, right? That's 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 those are your friends, man. Those are your friends that saying, hey man, if you figure these things out, you can be free. Take the time to figure it out. There's other people doing it. So you know it's true because other people are doing it. You know this physically. So they figured out something that you don't know. So figure out each fear that pops up in your brain of what's preventing you from what's keeping you working at a job that you hate. All you got to do is think about the fears. This is how they come up the fastest. Just think about you quitting your job today. Just getting up, stopping everything, and just walking out and never looking back. Now, think about all the fears that are preventing you from doing that. See all those fears, whatever it is: job, kids, child support, taxes, car note, mortgage payment, whatever. Those are all the fears preventing you. So those are all the points. So address each one of them. Why is this keeping me here? Oh, I am upside down in a car that I couldn't even afford. Okay, get rid of it, sell it, pay it off. All right, cool. Oh, I can't make my credit card payment. Ooh, I better get out of credit card debt. Let me pay all that stuff off. Okay, problem solved. All right, next one. That's it. And then each time you chop down each fear, it's not there anymore. Then you could see. But fear is your friend. It's not your enemy. The conditioned fear will consume you, will paralyze you. It'll paralyze you. Because you're using your conditioned mind of the word fear. Fear is your friend. It's saying, I'm telling you, it's saying just like this. This is what it was saying to me. Hey, Linnell, there's something over here you need to see, and I'm not going away. I don't care where you work. I don't care what type of clothes you have on. I don't care how bad your body is. I don't care how bad you got your six pack. I don't care if you go to different countries, this and that, all that stupid nonsense. I'm right here. There's something still missing. I was in debt. Nothing inside me satisfied me, no matter what I did, what job I had, what relationship I was in, no matter I had a pretty girlfriend, I was traveling to different countries, had the nicest car, had the nicest condo, whatever, right? It's nothing was satisfying me. Nothing. Why? I was in debt. Sharif says, if you don't overcome your fears, you'll be stuck. You sure will. You'll be stuck, man. And being stuck or stagnant absolutely terrifies me. Absolutely. I think what it was, Sharif, when I was getting older, man, I could never picture myself being at, you'll hear people brag about being at a job for like 30 years. When I heard that, even when I was young, I was like, ooh, 30 years? 30 years at the same place in the which also means in the same state. I mean, you're not living anywhere. 30 years, you haven't lived anywhere else, anywhere. Mm, there is no way I could walk into the same building for 30 years. And you know what else is crazy? When you live in the debt matrix, you have to have a job, right? You have to have a job. When you have to have a job, that's how the friendships are built at work too. People don't even know that they're there because they have to be. That's what the main common thing they have in common with each other. They have to come to work every day. They have to. I remember when I worked at this one particular job, right? When I first started, man, I had this manager, right? And he was a good man, good dude, still a good dude. Ain't nothing wrong with him. But I remember him, he was just a basic manager. He was happier, he was married. He didn't have any kids at the time, right? He was younger than me, about 10 years younger than me. And he was always happy. Really, I could see it, and I would take him and his wife out to work out and stuff. Man, they was getting in shape and this and that, right? And then they started having kids, right? And then he started moving up, and then I noticed that he started to look more tired as he's climbing the ladder, right? I was just like, I can't say it to him. I can't say, man, you are looking like you just burned out, right? But he still was dressed nice, and then he continued to climb, and the more he climbed, the more burned out he looked. I was like, "Hey, man," because I remember when we first started, man, he was getting in shape, and I remember he was getting excited and all this other stuff, and then all of a sudden, when he started climbing the ladder, he started doing it less and less and less. It's like people think the higher you go because you're making the more money, the happier you'll be, but nah, it didn't look that way to me. We even started talking less. And I think also what it was, I was coming out of debt too at that time because it took me, I was still working, had to work for those years while I was getting out of debt. But as I got out of debt and started seeing what a job can demand of you if you allow it, right? If you allow it, the business will take advantage of you. Okay. It's not nothing bad. I'm not saying anything negative that businesses do that because it's totally up to you to say, no, you can't do that. There's nothing they can do about it. Right. But I could see it's told because I was not having to be at work anymore. And towards the end, because I worked for a year, while I was debt free, and it just started feeling more and more like just a prison. It's an undescribable feeling when you're at a place where you don't have to be there anymore. It's totally different. You don't really get along with people anymore. You just say what's on your mind. You don't get along with people the same way. Hold on. You don't realize the commonality between everybody is because of debt. You see it in the parking lots, people driving up with new cars, people inside the building are impressed by the other person that they drove a new car, they must have money, and they're all making payments. That's why they're there in that building looking at that's why the person with the new car is driving up to his job while all the people in the building are looking at wishing they was that same dude, not realizing that, man, just think if you drive up if say like there was something in the building, businesses asked to see people's credit reports and to even get hired, maybe they go in their credit reports every 6 months, right? And if they go in there and see that you financed two new cars, they know you're not going anywhere. You're not going anywhere, at least for the next 72 to 84 months minimum. You're not going anywhere. You got car payments, you're not going anywhere. Oh yeah, you're going to be working overtime. You're going to be working through lunches. You're going to be accepting all the bull crap they give you. Why? Because you need to. You have to. You're a slave. Joseph Brown says fear is useful. It can be positive or negative reference point. It depends on how you use it. Yeah. Oh, Joseph, when look at commercials, man. All you gotta do is watch commercials. They sell based on fear. They sell based on fear. Just watch the commercials. Hey, man, all this could possibly happen in your life. Well, if people recognize recognize that for what it is, oh yeah, but will it happen? Probably not. Oh man, you need this kind of insurance for your car, man. You just never know. They just got to step back and say, when's the last time I've been in an accident? Last 30 years, never. Okay, then trust your driving record. Why are you worried about what they're saying? Doesn't even make any sense. 30 years of slavery. Yep. Nicer says, I would have loved to see the facial expressions of those who were ganging up on Gabriel, and he shut down all their VB talking points with one line. I'm not even in debt. Sure did. Gabriel says they want workers, not millionaires. Exactly. They want workers. It's a business. But when you go there, you're building friendships. I'm not saying all friendships are horrible, but you're there because you just got to think about it. If you didn't have to be at that job, you wouldn't stay. Who do you think you would really stay in contact with if you just didn't have to have that job? You left the job you hate. I guarantee you, not many. Like my last job, I stayed in contact with maybe 2 to 3 people, and I knew a lot of people at that job. And 2 or 3 people I'm still in contact with. Those are the true friendships. But the other ones, you're there because you're in debt. Like if you're at work and you hear somebody, they get a new home, right? Don't don't be jealous, especially you young people. Don't be jealous of that, man. You first of all, you have no idea what type of loan they have. I mean, think about it. They promised the next 30 years of their future earnings to the bank for this house. 30 years? I mean, for example, if you wanted that house paid off by age 50, right? You'd have to have bought it at age 20. How many 20-year-olds you think are buying houses? How many? How many you think? What's the percentage of a 20-year-old buying his own house, mortgaging it with the best conventional mortgage on the market with over 20% down, more than 20% down in a nice, come on, that's never going to happen. And if you did a 30-year, you wouldn't pay it off till 50. How many 50-year-olds, how many 20-year-olds are doing that? Not many. Gabriel says, yes, I have fear, man. I need to overcome it. Oh, we all do, Gabriel. Don't act like you're too big and bad over. You got to turn to and say, why are you here? Don't run from it. Don't pretend like, hey, I'm a man. That doesn't scare me. No, you got to turn around and say, hey, why are you here? Why you keep bugging me? Okay, why are you bothering me? And it's going to tell you. You got to talk to it. If you turn your back on it, he's just going to keep tapping you on the shoulder and say, "Hey, man, I don't care where you go. I'm still going to be here. You can go to another country. I'm going to come with you." Sharif says, the news sell fear too. Oh, yeah, they're doing it right now with the coronavirus. They're doing it right now. You know what I think when stuff like that happens? You know what I think? I'm like, what are the wealthy doing? What are they moving? What are they doing? Okay, I know you want me to pay attention to coronavirus. I'm not, because the flu killed more people than that last year. So why you want me to focus on the coronavirus when the flu killed so many people last year, and the coronavirus is just a few. Okay, what are you not wanting me to see? Then I just turn around. I turn my back to the coronavirus so I can see what the wealthy are doing. What you guys doing? Barrels, okay, oil, diamonds, gold, bonds, securities. What are you doing? Stock market? What you guys doing over there? And you know what? This is how I tie it together. I look for something that panic could change something, fear can change something. So I look at the stock market because that's where it's going to happen. Because remember, you got to remember this: if 85% of Americans are in debt, that means just think of the percentage of those people that are investing in the stock market with money they don't even know, that doesn't even exist, right? So it's fear, right? It's fear. So you, because if you manage your money well and you're investing money, real money that you have, you know there's a possibility of it, you could lose it, right? But if you lost it, would it hurt your main living life? No, because you know it's extra money to gamble with, to play with. People in debt don't know that. So you do a panic, all of a sudden stores are running out of food and stuff. They're like, uh-oh, all right, there must be some jacking up some toilet paper. The price of toilet paper. They're doing something. They're increasing some prices of something. I don't see it. What does it connect to? Okay, food, toilet paper, batteries. What else? What else? Stock market. Okay, because those guys they're really nervous about that money, because if they lose that money, they got to pay back the bank. So they're probably moving and shifting some money over there because, man, they don't want to owe the bank all that money. Oh, no way, man, that'd be too many years to pay out. Whatever that runs through their brains, right? So they're going to be shifting some stuff. I don't know anything about the stock market, but I've been watching the news and they're saying, "Hey, the stock market's doing this." I'm like, "Damn, it's working." Okay, then I think to myself, "Okay, wealthy, why are you guys doing that? Why are you guys causing that panic? You guys having a meeting somewhere? I want to be part of it." They sure are, Jennifer. The sheeple. They want the sheeple to look another way while they're doing something some other way. It's not a secret. They're not hiding it. They're just keeping them busy. Sharif says the wealthy is selling their stocks and making big money. Yeah, they're doing something, man. I don't. And if you know more about stocks than me, you can look at it from your debt-free eyes and you can see it. Whatever they're doing, uh, if it's like that, selling stocks to do something, whatever, they're doing something. While the sheeple are wrapped up in the coronavirus, they don't even know anything. People in debt don't even know they're in debt, so there's no way they can really understand the proper workings of the stock market. That's mathematically impossible for them. If they don't even check it out. If a person doesn't even know how much debt they're in, you think they're going to understand the stock market? No, they're not. Not the real one. You don't even know how much debt you're in. How are you talking about you understand how the stock works? No, you don't. The stock market runs on debt too. So crazy. This is SMD family members. This is the bigger picture. Check this out. I'm gonna show you how the banks do it. Okay, this is how the banks do it. First, people in debt don't know they're in debt. Okay, doesn't matter if they can know mathematically, but it doesn't matter if they don't believe it. They just don't believe it. Whatever, right? So they don't realize they have no mathematical choice but to borrow money. Anything they buy when they're in debt, I don't care if they're buying a tube of toothpaste. They're in debt. They're borrowing that money because they're in debt. They're in a negative. Anything they believe they're getting on sale, they're not. They're in debt. They're just going deeper in debt on sale. They're in debt. So if you get the same person that doesn't know they're in debt, how do you believe they're investing into the stock market? How do you think they're doing that? They're borrowing the bank's money. They're indirectly borrowing. They're indirectly investing in the stock markets for the banks. They have to. That's how it's mathematically true, because they have no money. So they have to borrow it. So they're investing for the bank. So now the bank gets to play in the stock market. Wait, how would that be? Okay, they go in there. They get to make money without any risk, because if the person invests in something wrong, they still owe the bank money plus interest. If they win, they're going to keep investing the bank's money, because that's how just people in debt believe. That's how they think. They don't think if I win money, I should pay off debt. No, they just keep doing, because they want more and more money, because that's what they believe in. That's how it works. Then they cause fear by saying, "Oh, the coronavirus," right? When all you got to do is like, "Hey, man, how many people died from just the common flu last year?" It'll be thousands. But here's 2, 3 people, and they put it on the news. They think it's a big deal. Then that causes fear in the stock market, and then they start shifting money. That's how it works. You can't know that when you're in debt. It's a whole different language, people. Whole different language. Nice says people stocking up on toilet paper. You sure are. Jennifer says they love to distract us. You're so right, LJ. Yes. They only distract people in debt, Jennifer, because they panic. Because they depend on the government. They think taxes are the reason, this and that, and blah blah, whatever. They just don't know it's just them. But when you're at a debt, I always look, okay, what are the wealthy? That's what I honestly, that's what I think. What are the wealthy doing? Because I'm trying to be part of their team. And to be part of their team, you got to follow the rules that they create. They created the tax system. So you can't come in and think you're going to be wealthy by breaking the tax laws. You can't do that. The wealthy created them. How are you going to be wealthy if you break the very rules that they create? That doesn't make any sense. So you got to go, oh, okay, let me follow them. Do the opposite of the majority and follow the rules. And then you'll see how it all works. You're like, oh, okay, I get it now. Jennifer says there is no hand sanitizer anywhere. Right, exactly. Time to invest in hand sanitizer. Hand sanitizer stocks. It might just be a brief shot up, but during this panic, you got to ride the wave. I mean, think about it. If you think about it, okay, what are they snatching up? Okay, toilet paper. Okay, let me see who makes. Let's see who's the biggest toilet paper manufacturer. Time to invest in there. Okay, hand sanitizer. Invest in that. Okay, masks that go on your face. Who makes those? Time to invest in that, because it's going to be a short ride. And you'll know when they call it. As soon as they call it, they'll stop talking about it. That's when you know to pull. As soon as they stop talking about it on the news and people stop talking about it, that's when it's time to pull your money, because that's where the peak is going to happen. They're going to ride it all the way to the top. People stop talking about it, then it stops, and then it goes back to normal. That's when you pulled your money. Then it's going to drop. All you got to do is watch the news. They're telling you how to do it. It's on Facebook. It's on every time. That's why I don't even watch the news. I don't watch regular TV. I don't pay people that even try to force it down my throat. I just tell them, nah, man, I don't even pay attention to that. They think they're shocked. I'm not part of the sheeple clan. Gabriel says, what happens if people were like, I'm not paying any student loans and inherit their money? What happens if people were like, I'm not paying any student loans and inherit their money for their family? They can't. That's not an option. They can't do that. The student loan place, they're getting their money. Believe that. There is no way out of student loans, Gabriel. I don't care if the person won money, whatever. They're getting their money. And they really don't want them to pay them off. Okay, you make more money by not paying them off. That's why they make it so difficult. That's what listen, people in debt, they don't even get it. This is why they split up the loans. This is why they go subsidized, not subsidized at this percentage rate. They make it so confusing. I mean, it's just broke up loans. They just this now that they sell them one year. This company owns them. Next year, that company owns them, and the slaves just follow along. They just, oh my God, it's bad. They be doing people in debt so bad, right? They make it so confusing. You know why? Because they don't want you to get out of debt. They make more money by you staying in and confused, and just accept. Like, imagine this. Imagine how many people that do velocity banking have student loans, and they believe velocity banking is going to get them out of their 20-year student loans. Can you imagine that? Can you even imagine that? That's what they believe. They think they're going to borrow their way out of student. They think they're going to borrow their way out of student loan debt. You are completely insane. You are completely financially insane if you believe that's going to happen. No, it's not. Next time I have a next time I have a thing, I'm gonna make sure they tell me, does this person have student loans? Because that's going to be very, very important. What's up, King of Kings? Sharif says the stock market is for the wealthy. They can move money fast. The average people don't have enough time to watch the market. This is why, it's so funny. Everybody knows, like, that plays the stock market. There's an exclusive area that you have to have a minimum of 1 million or whatever. There's a reason for that. Those are the people that understand how it really works. And to be part of that club, you got to prove to be part of that club by having that much money. You got to prove it. You can't. There's no accident. You can't borrow your way to that point. You can't borrow your way to play at that table. You can't. No, you can't. You can't borrow your way to play at that table. People don't know it's so easy. All they got to do is just look at your personal credit report. If you're in debt, you're not going. You're not going anywhere near that table. You're in debt. Especially if you don't even know how much debt you're in. Oh man, you don't even know where to start. Gabriel says, being in debt reminds me of Monopoly. Yes, that's the right way. Derek Ochoa says they will garnish a percentage of your check if they have halfway decent income that's reported to the IRS. They sure will. You ain't getting away from student loans. You're a slave for life, baby. Derek Ochoa says, happened to me, shaking my head, thought I could avoid paying them back until I found out about the debt-free truth. Yeah, you're a slave until you're dead if you don't pay those student loans off, Derek. Now you think about this, man. Think about how many people you know that talk like this. Oh man, F them student loans. Man, they ain't getting nothing from me. This and that, and this and that. You can see people get emotional about it. They get emotional about them student loans. Oh, they should have told me this and that. That don't mean nothing, slave. What are you gonna do about it? You might as well stop getting mad. You ain't going nowhere. Don't care where you work, nothing. King of Kings says, I'm thinking about filing chapter 7, family. What do y'all think? This is what I say, King of Kings. This is what I say. Since chapter 7 stays on your credit report for 10 years, I want you to say this to yourself. Add up all your debt, every penny. And then I want you to say to yourself, do I believe I can pay this off in 10 years of my lifetime? Or do I not? No, better yet, say it like this. Do I believe in myself enough that I will make this much money, if not more, within 10 years of my life? That's how I want you to say that to yourself. I want you to say that to yourself. Say, out of 10 years of my life, do I believe I'll ever make this much money? Now, if the answer is no, you don't believe you'll make that much money in your life out of 10 whole years of your life, go ahead and file chapter 7. Go ahead and do it. But I want you to say that to yourself, though, okay? I want you to say that to yourself. When you see that amount of money, whatever that number is, you say, hey, I don't believe I will ever make this amount of money in 10 years of my lifetime. Then you say, okay, go ahead. I'm going to go ahead and file chapter 7. King of Kings says, I don't have any student loans. LJ knows what I have, mostly unsecured CC debt. Yeah, I don't I don't talk anybody's business. I let everybody talk about their own business, So King of Kings stated it, so that's cool. But like I said, think about what I said, King of Kings, okay? If you don't believe whatever that number is, if you don't believe you're going to make that amount of money in 10 whole years of your lifetime, make sure you say that to yourself and then go ahead and file Chapter 7. Because again, the reason why I state that, the pain of paying off debt is part of the process. That's a big part of the process, huge. That is the main piece of the whole debt-free puzzle. Paying off, paying no, not paying off, paying back the money you already spent. You spent that money. I'm not just talking to you, King of Kings. I'm talking to everybody in debt. You already spent that money. Now you have to pay it back. Bankruptcy stays on your Chapter 7 bankruptcy stays on your credit report for 10 years. Add up all that debt and say, will I be able to pay it? And in the same scenario goes for, again, for the positive side of things. Say like somebody's in $300,000 worth of debt. No, let's say $100,000 worth of debt, no student loan debt, right? And they only make let's say $30,000 a year, and they're in debt, right? I would say file Chapter 7. I would. $200,000 and you're only making $30,000 a year. Yeah, you might as well go ahead and file Chapter 7. That's going to take you way longer than 10 years to pay that back at your current pace, right? But if you have $100,000 in student loan debt and you only make $30,000 a year, that's a whole different story right there. That's a whole different story. No, that's why I'm saying it, because I do know the details, and that's why I'm saying everything. Chapter 7 is something that you should always have it in your back pocket. Always ready for serious something. I mean, like, say like you got in an accident and you need a major surgery and that stuff added up to like $1 million and you had no insurance. Chapter 7 will save you. Okay, because you only can file Chapter 7, I think, every 7 years. Man, Chapter 7 will save you. It's there for a very, very good purpose. Not for $20,000, not for $30,000, not for $50,000. Hell, not even $100,000 if you make enough money. Hold on for a second. All right. All that, man. It's just Chapter 7 is it's a get out of debt free card. You know what I'm saying? And you got to use it wisely. You got to use it wisely. Not like people that just keep getting in debt. Like, for example, Chapter 13 is for people that are in debt. That's a moneymaker. Chapter 13 has absolutely no good purpose at all. None. Zero. It's just another tool that they sell to people in debt. They use Chapter 13 to allow people to keep their depreciating stuff. So So they can't tell. This is what it's really for. People in debt can't see this. They chapter 13, they tell them, hey, you get to keep your stuff if you file chapter 13. That way, to the outside world, it doesn't look like they're broke because they get to keep their stuff and they get to make these payments. But I knew somebody that just got chapter 13 and was talking about getting a brand new Jaguar. I was like, what? They don't learn anything. They don't learn anything. So they continue to go back into debt. Haven't learned anything. So they charge them more. And they don't, those people in debt, they don't know that the stuff still accrues interest. It still does. Waiting for them, the success, the failure rate of chapter 13 is like 67%. Failure rate. That's why they charge the most, all that stuff. King of Kings says, I feel it will free me and open up my cash flow to get out of debt, out of slavery. Again, King of Kings, I'm not saying if you want to do that, you can do that. All I'm saying is this: add up your total debt. And if you don't believe you can pay off your debt, your total debt in 10 years of your lifetime, or you don't believe you're going to make that much money in the lifetime of 10 years, then that's what you're saying by filing chapter 7. That's what I want you to understand. That's what you're saying to yourself. But if you feel that, hey, doing it will give you free cash flow, okay, go ahead. You're still gonna get to zero, whatever. But remember, you're messing up your trump card for the next 7 years if you do it. That's a major trump card. 7 years, you could lose your job and all this other stuff at the same time, but multiple things could happen. I mean, big things, big things, not 20, 30,000. I'm talking about multiple hundreds of thousands. You might never ever have to use it. Ever. Never know, but it's a good thing to have. This is what it feels like to be in this world, man. This side of the financial world, you know what I'm saying? It allows collaborations like that yesterday. It allows that type of stuff. And remember before I even started the collaboration, I was like, I'm remember I said, I'm going to tell you right now that I'm not going to be wrong during this collaboration. I'm not. I'm telling you that it's still not going to make any mathematical sense. And I told them before it happened and it didn't make any mathematical sense, but yet they still believe it. Even when I make them tell me that my math is right, they still don't believe it. And again, for you non-believers that just coming over here and you're hearing me, I want you guys to focus in on that. They're telling me I'm wrong, I'm wrong, I'm wrong, but each time when I come back to math, it's always right. I really want you to focus in on that. Dang, man, he's right, man. His math is always right. It is, and it always will be. If you ever want to become a millionaire, you have to know where to start. First, to become a millionaire, first you have to know how to count to a million first. You know that, right? Now I know most of you will start with 1, 2, 3, 4. For no, I would stop you right there and say, what about zero? Zero's a number. Why didn't you start with zero? You have everybody. Math says everybody has to start with zero. Everybody does. Add up all your savings, then add up all your debt. Savings minus debt equals where you start from. Savings minus debt equals the number where you start from. You work from there up to zero. And then once you get to zero, then you get to start to count to a million. 1, 2, 3, all the way to a million. That's where you start. If everybody knew how to count to a million, they would know exactly how to make $1 million. They would know. You can't get there if you don't know how to count to a million. Ask anybody. Ask somebody hey man, can you? I mean, they'll get insulted by you even asking the question. So I don't even know how you would ask that question. I don't know how you'd approach to say, hey man, you just say like this, hey man, you want to be a millionaire? Everybody will say yes. But how do you say when you say, but first you got to know how to count to a million? First, they're going to get insulted because they're going to think you're calling them dumb or something, right? Right. But you might get one or two people to say, oh, I do one, two, just show me. I don't know how you get them to say it, but then they'll say 1, 2, 3, 4. And you're like, then you stop them and say, hey, what about zero? They'll look at you confused, like, why would I start at zero? That's what they're going to look at you. They're going to look dead in your face and say, why would I start with zero? Then you say, because zero is the number two. Why wouldn't you start with zero? They'll just go, I don't know. I don't know. They don't know. Those are people in debt. Or it could be a debt-free person, whatever. They could be two ways, but you would know right away if they're in debt, okay? Because a debt-free person could start at one. All right. So that's true. But people in debt, they also start at one when they shouldn't be, okay? Because they're in the negative. If they just knew all they had to do was get their finances to zero and then they could start to count to a million, they'll see exactly how to become a millionaire. I always knew there was a way. It's funny. I always knew there was a way to become a millionaire, but you still don't know, no, right? I mean, when you're working at a job, you logically understand that you're not going to become a millionaire at your job. I mean, you could just do that, right? Even that didn't wake me up because I didn't use mathematics. It's still so stupid when I think about it. And here's another hard thing about it. When you get out of debt, you're going to be able to see people's wages for what they really are, right? They really, like when I was making six figures, right? 160,000, right? To the people in the debt matrix, that sounds like a lot of money, right? A lot of money, a lot of money. But what people in the debt matrix don't know is that when you're in debt, I paid the highest amount in taxes in my tax bracket because there was no way for me to reduce it because I was in debt, right? So making more money wasn't going to help me get out of debt because each time I made more money, I made more money in tax. I mean, I paid more money in taxes, right? Because again, there was still no way to reduce it because I was in debt. So the outside world, they believe that's really good money because you're making six figures, but in reality, you're not. You're not even close to that, right? Man, it's crazy. But in my mind, I was thinking, I was still stuck on that 160, knowing that I wasn't making 160 minus taxes. It's just the craziest thing. Why didn't I stop and say to myself, well, I'm really not making 160 because after you take all the taxes, I'm only making like 140 maybe or something like that. And then you start taking off all the car payments and interest I'm paying, that money was nothing. So in the debt world, $160,000 a year sounds like a lot of money, but when you're out of debt, you can clearly see that it's not. It's not really a lot of money. It is just what, let me see how I can put this in words. It's what I'm gonna just make up words. The debt structure has made people believe according to the debt. All you got to do is do this. How much debt is out there? You get enough people to believe six figures is a lot of money. It's weird how it works. Like they get people to believe they're in classes. Okay. They're in like the poor, middle class, upper class, right? They get people to believe people in debt to believe they're in classes, right? When classes don't really even exist, but they still believe if they're in this particular class, they're somehow better than than the lower class or something, right? So to get people to believe that. So if a person is making, I'm trying to translate this to you guys, okay, as it's coming to me. If a person is making $200,000 a year, but they're $400,000 in debt, they're not in any they're not in any class except the debt class. But for some reason, they believe they're in a class that's above the lower class, and the middle class are trying to strive to be the upper class, to be like the upper class. It's just the craziest, but they don't realize they're just in the debt class, right? It doesn't matter if a person above them that makes no, if a person that makes $1 million, right? They would consider them upper class, and that's what the middle class is striving for. But if the person in a million that makes $1 million is in $2 million in debt, the only class he's in is in the debt class. He's just in the debt class. He's in the same class as the person that's making $200,000. They're in the same exact class, but they don't even know they're in the same class because they believe they're in lower, middle, upper class. They believe those classes exist, and they don't even exist. Nicer says, I bet the VB lovers felt they won the debate because they feel nonstop chatter beats out math, but math always be undefeated. It'll always be undefeated. You can't beat math, no matter what you say, no matter how you feel. It's just crazy how it really works. Try to tell that to somebody in debt. Try to say, hey, man, you know, classes don't exist, upper class, middle class, lower class. They don't even exist. Try to tell somebody in debt that. They will never believe you in a million years. You can't tell them, hey, man, you're just in a debt class. They will not understand a word you're saying. This is, man, I'm telling you guys, this is unbelievable. It is unbelievable to have this kind of gift. It's a total gift to be able to see something so simple to see, and many don't see it. That is just a crazy gift to have. It's crazy, you guys, crazy. To walk around on this earth, to know nobody can financially fool you ever. Nobody. People in debt, they can't fool you because first of all, people in debt don't know they're in debt, so they don't know, they only speak debt. Like when I watch like shows like the American Greed, right? I watch that show, and these guys be taking millions from people, millions. And then these people that are American Greed, they're not doing anything fancy. They're just putting up a facade. They just make people believe stuff that don't even exist. They're not doing anything fancy. They make them. They make like Bernie Madoff and all these other guys that stole millions. They equate intelligence to the amount of money they stole. That means nothing. Those two don't mean anything together. They don't mean any. They don't go together. They do things that don't make mathematical sense. All you got to do is do the math. That's it. But of course, people go by feelings and greed. You know, those people that do that kind of stuff, they do the same OMO. It's usually a Ponzi scheme, and then they promise interest rates unlike anybody else in the whole entire United States of America. They don't stop and think, wait a minute, how come you're the only one that can do that and everybody else in the country can't? Because it's a scam. That's why. It's a scam. People that invest with other people, they don't realize, people that don't know, excuse me, people that don't know about money and they want to invest, they don't understand that all they got to do is ask to see the person's personal credit report before they invest with them. Don't go buy their stuff. Don't go buy their cars, their houses, their clothes, their multi homes. Don't go buy any of that. You say, hey, man, I want to see your personal credit report, their entire, not your credit score, your credit report. And it will tell you everything they need to know. Because if scammers rip off people, you think they pay their own bills? Do you believe Scammers they steal money from people. Do you think they pay their bills on time? No, they don't. They're scammers. So all you got to do is look at their personal credit report. It will show you. They will have so much money, and then you look at the credit report, and it'll be a total disaster. And then you got to think, wait a minute, if you're making all this money, why is your personal credit report a total disaster? That doesn't make sense. That's a sign to tell you that they're scammers. Man, they out here selling people their futures. It's just crazy how many things are out here, man. And I'm not calling everything a scam. I'm saying if it's legal, it's cool. Okay. I don't care. I don't care. Velocity banking, infinite banking, payday loans, earn an app. What they're doing is legal, it's legal. Straight up. They don't know that the future doesn't exist. That's why they're selling it to you. It doesn't even exist. Whoever came up with that, selling people their futures, man, that is absolutely brilliant. People look at their debt and say, oh my God, that'll take forever. Like they have a choice. You don't have no choice. What do you mean? Who cares about time? Who cares about time? You got to do what it takes to get out of debt. And no other entity outside yourself is going to do it. No other entity. But somebody will sell it to you. Somebody will sell it to you, though. They do it every day. They do it every single day. And people just come up with people in debt come up with so many excuses. Oh man, it's unbelievable. Yesterday is a testimonial to that. That's why this feels so powerful. It just feels so good when I make them say, "Is my math right?" You know how good that feels? They have to say yes. They have to say yes. I'm gonna put this up there if you guys want to talk about last night's show, Velocity Banking, or if you just have a general question for me, you can. There's a link. You can jump in here, and you don't have to turn on the camera. You can just turn the camera off, select off, and then just use your voice if you don't want to be on camera. It's totally up to you. Anybody have any questions of me? Savings-debt.com for a free 30-minute consultation. Don't forget to hit that like button. Google hashtag savings-debt to share. Just tell them to Google this hashtag and they'll find me. I'll be the only one that pops up on that search result. Man, it's quiet today. You guys not too talkative today. A few, but I like that. I'm gonna stay on here for about 2 hours. We're gonna stay on here 8 more minutes if there's no questions, and then we're gonna make it even 2 hours. Hold on for a second. I'll see you nicer. 1 second. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, I can hear you. What's going on, Nicer? How you doing?
Hey, what's good, SMD fam? I just had to jump in,
Mm-hmm.
especially after yesterday's live,
Mm-hmm.
which was the most active that I've ever seen. That we talked a little bit about it in the Discord afterwards, but
Mm-hmm.
I just want to say it's refreshing to come back to this live today. And well, I know that controversy boosts numbers and all that, but
Mm-hmm.
I value my peace of mind a whole lot more. So I was just saying, it's just refreshing just to have the SMD family in here today on this live.
Mm,
Connecting and sharing on
mm-hmm,
a level that raises your vibrations rather than lowers them,
mm-hmm.
which I noticed was was happening in yesterday's live. But all in all, I would say it was a pretty good live. It went pretty smoothly. You know, both both sides of the argument, for the most part, being respectful towards each other's
Yeah.
and each other's perspectives and whatnot.
It went well. I agree. It went really well. That was
Yeah, it went a
amazing.
lot better because I was actually scared to jump in. I mean, to click on your YouTube link yesterday. I was like, oh, this is gonna get out of hand. It's gonna. I was just.
And it didn't even go that way. I didn't
No,
really.
it didn't even go that way.
I wasn't gonna
No.
even pretty much allow it, but I mean, we let them speak their minds. As long as they did it respectfully. Hey, this is their opinion on how velocity bank. It was good. It wasn't no disrespect. I was reading some of the comments as we were talking, but I didn't see anything too disrespectful.
Yeah, me either.
Mm-hmm.
It's just that, well, because even though I do have a little bit of that, it's something peace of mind that I've acquired um since I really started doing soul searching and applying a positive, or prompting my mind to develop a positive mindset,
Mm-hmm.
because I am a totally different person than I was, say, 20 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but yeah, that's one of the main reasons I'm here a lot. That I make time for when I see you going live, because it's refreshing, and it gives me life. You know,
Mm-hmm.
just conversating with like-minded people
Yes.
that I
Yes.
aspire to be, when I see these success stories of
Mm-hmm.
others in the SMD family that are out of debt, and
Mm-hmm.
they're making moves to becoming,
To better.
well, not
Mm-hmm.
right.
Mhm. And I'm glad to share my personal stories with you guys, so you guys can see what I like the most is, like, when you guys finally get out of debt and get to the other side of zero. I'm glad I'm able to show you what it's like to work through the fears of actually quitting a job, not working at places you hate anymore, and just totally experiencing the other side of what it's like to be truly free, to actually own your slave papers.
Right.
Hmm.
So
I love it.
I just wanted to jump in and share that with my SMD family. Because I love all of you, and I mean that, and I say that. You know, um.
I appreciate that, Nisa. And the SMD family does too, I'm sure.
All right, bet.
All right. Talk to you later.
Yep.
Bye. Nice. Mr. Napoleon Rodriguez. How you doing, Giselle? Just came from the dentist appointment. You pop up on my feed. I got a lot of feedback from yesterday to have another session. I know you mentioned it, and I'm happy to have another session and discuss the topics. Cool. All right. That's Denzel jumping in, saying he got the feedback from his subscribers. And we're going to put in a part 2 session when we link up. I know he's a busy young man, and it'd be awesome. I'm sure we should talk a little before Denzel, so we can make sure we can, I guess, uh, frame it a little better, not let people talk too long or something. No, we'll talk. We'll point out those things, but just to take to what we saw, what we learned from the first video, what we're going to do in the second video. But it was awesome. I appreciate you doing that for us, Denzel. I had asked some of your subscribers to reach out to you if they would like it too, and did you get a question for you? I know you got negative feedback, but was it? Did your subscribers mostly agree with my subscribers that it was a successful collab? Seeing that we're both we're reaching to the debt-free zone anyway. So did you get some good feedback? So yeah, so all right, we're gonna go. We're almost at 2 hours here because I got to get off here and face some of my fears and some things I need to take care of myself. So, and honestly, I be getting on the mic. Maybe sometimes I use it too much to get away from something I need to be doing, the fear of something I need to be doing. So I got to make sure I keep an eye on that too. Start getting on and doing that. Okay, cool. All right, yeah, for sure. They all said it was productive. Okay, cool, man. That was like I said, it was wonderful that it turned out that way. It really was. Cosmic got one today too. Yeah, and I'm glad. Thank you, Cosmic, for sharing. First of all, I appreciate that. And this is why I'm sharing with you guys in the room too, because I want you guys to have, you probably look at cosmic wisdom different. You probably look at me different, and it's the same. We're just all at different points, not even levels. It's just at different points in our life. And, some of you might think, oh, they're way ahead of us. They're above or beyond. No, the fears are still, there might be different fears, but they're fears. Just because you break through fears don't mean the next one's going to be easy to break through too. It doesn't work like that. You just got to recognize the fear and get through it. Right. So this weekend, I got to get through another fear of mine, and that's to remake my opt-in video that I was telling you about last week. I finished that. I did it. I did what I was supposed to do. Now I learned the do's and don'ts. And so now I got to redo it. Okay. Because I have to learn it. So that's what's going to happen. So this weekend I've designated to do that. And that's 2 videos I got to make, really. So Cosmic Wisdom says it will be done today, so you keep at it. Oh, I'll keep at it. We're not you probably like me on this part, Cosmic. It's not that we're not going to face it. We probably prolong it longer than it needs to go on. You know what I'm saying? You're not saying, hey, I'm not going to look at you. You're saying, okay, yeah, I know you're there. I'm going to get to you, but I'm going to do this first. I'm going to get to you, but I'm going to do this first. I'm going to get to you, I'm going to do this first, right? Then you say, okay, I'm going to stop doing this first, and I'm going to take care of this. So I don't have to worry about this fear in my face, right? So that was the same way I was when I made the first opt-in video. I was putting it off, did it, came back. All right, we got to do it this way. All right, cool. We got to do it that way. All right. All right, nice to see you later. Denzel says, what are your thoughts on coronavirus and the best ways to prepare? Do you tell your clients to halt paying off debt and maybe build the emergency fund and have cash? No, I tell them to ignore it. I say, hey, people, S&D family, ignore the coronavirus. That's for sheeple. Sheeple follow. Pay attention to what the wealth builders are doing. They're doing something that they don't want you to see, and they're trying to distract you. What do you mean? The coronavirus is killing people. Why don't you look up how many people died of the common flu last year and then compare those people with how many people died of the coronavirus? All right. Now, focus in on what the wealth are doing. They're doing something. They're shifting some money. Look at the stock market. People in debt don't know they're in debt, so they're indirectly investing into the stock market with the bank's money because they have no mathematical choice to, but they don't know that. So it's going to be scared money up in there. They're going to be like, oh my God, I got to pull that money. I don't want to have to pay back the bank all that money. That's a lot of money, right? Then they're going to start doing panic moves. So pay attention to that. That's what I tell my SMD family members, Denzel. See how people panic. Oh my God, I better stop paying on debt. This and that. Stop paying on debt. You're doing exactly what the design plan is supposed to do. You're doing exactly what they're supposed to. Oh, start panicking. Yeah, you need money. People in debt think they're saving money. They're in debt. They don't even have any money to save. They don't even have money to save yet. They're gonna stop paying off debt. What do you mean? You don't have no choice but to stop paying off debt. You have to. No matter what's going on around you, you have to pay off debt. You're going to be a slave a little longer while you're waiting till the coronavirus be over. It's going to be over pretty soon. Just wait a little while. It's going to stop. Earth is not going to end. The end of the world is not here. It's going to stop. Okay. Don't worry about that. Just keep paying your debt off. Same thing happened in the year 2000. The whole world was going to shut down computers. People panicked then too. They just do whatever the wealthy just put that pin in there and it's like, oh, let's distract the sheeple with this. If people just step back and go, wait a minute, there's more people that died from the flu last year compared to the coronavirus. I know. You're just doing what they're saying to do in the news. Facebook. People be getting on Facebook with their mask on and stuff like that. They're just showing the whole world that it's working. Oh, you fall for it too. Okay. Yeah. And you're taking a picture of yourself of it too. Oh, okay. All right. Whatever. You know what I tell people that bring that up? I just tell them I don't follow that. They look at me like, "Are you crazy?" No, man. You know what I'm going to do? Hey, what are they running out of? What are they running out of the grocery shelves for? Toilet paper. It's time to invest in toilet paper. I'm investing in hand sanitizer, face masks. What else? Whatever survival kits that they think they're going to need. That's how I do it. And then when they give me the signal that the money shift is over, they'll stop talking about the coronavirus in the news, and that's when I sell because things are going to go back to normal. It seems pretty obvious to me. Unfortunately, I don't have no extra money to do it right now, or else I would do it. Denzel, man. Sir, let me tell you something, Denzel. You are a very good businessman. You're doing all the right things. That's why you're making more money than me right now, I'm sure. Okay, I know it. You're following the plan. I see you following the blueprint. I look at your videos, your clothes, your hair, uh, the backgrounds, your editing. I mean, you're doing all the right things. I mean, throw yourself up in there, and I totally get it, Denzel. I totally get it. But I'm just going a different route, man. I'm just going with mathematics. Okay, so I follow things very differently than you do. I see things for what they are. Anybody that's panicking, all you got to do to prove my point. When you see somebody panicking over the coronavirus, just ask them, "Hey, man, how many people died of the flu last year?" They won't even know. That's all part of the plan. Don't talk about that. It got to be something new. Hyphy says, "Why would I build an emergency fund for the coronavirus when I just build my immune system to easily defend against it?" Exactly. Why would I even have to build an emergency fund for the coronavirus? How come my emergency fund ain't already in place? You know what I'm saying? When it's already in place. Sub defend my biz. Great session yesterday. I love how you guys kept it respectful and just share your ideas. Yeah, that was nice, man. That was really nice. That was really nice, man. At first, I didn't expect it to go that way, but then again, you know what? I talked to Denzel. He reached out to me. It was always respectful, so I really didn't expect it to go negatively. I knew most of the arguing would come from the followers, the subscribers. So Brian Feeney says, "Morning, everyone. Velocity banking is another way to try to get out of debt without working harder. Same reason you got into debt." I'm not sure what that last sentence means. Let me read that over, Brian, so I can make sure. Morning, everyone. Velocity banking is another way to try and get out of debt without working harder. Same reason you got into debt. Brian, there is no way to get out of debt without working. So if you work harder, the faster you get out of debt. If you don't work harder, You get out of debt slower. But I'm not sure what that's last. The same reason you got into debt. People got into debt by working harder. I'm not sure what you mean by that. But anyway, hey, Brian, if you're a believer in velocity, listen, Brian, if you believe that you can borrow your way out of debt faster, that's what you believe. I mean, that's just, I don't know why that doesn't make mathematical sense to you. I mean, I don't know why it does make mathematical sense to you, but you can't borrow your way faster out of debt, Brian. You can't. That's impossible. Defend My Biz says, if you don't understand the basics of getting out of debt and you have an emergency savings, velocity banking is not for you. Get the basics down first. Exactly. If you don't understand the basics of getting out of debt and have an emergency save, yeah, velocity banking is definitely not for you. Because, and what I was saying earlier, Defend My Biz, this is what I was saying earlier. You know what it is? And they even said it. People don't want to feel the pain of paying off what they already spent. They don't want to feel the pain of paying it back. By taking the dollars that they work for and giving it to the people they owe, right? They don't want to feel that pain. So velocity banking allows its premises to borrow money. So they don't feel the pain as much because why? They believe they're using other people's money. So it doesn't, for some reason, they don't think it hurts as bad, but it does. Okay, Brian says, you're not understanding what I mean. People use credit because they don't want to work harder to save the money to pay cash. I'm agreeing with it. Oh, gotcha. You're right. You're right. You're right. Oh, I see what you're saying, Brian. My fault. You're right. You're right. Okay. Gotcha. I was reading it wrong. Sorry, everybody. I was reading it wrong. Morning, everyone. Velocity Bank is another way to try and get out of debt without working harder to save earnings. Okay, gotcha. I was reading. Sorry, Brian. I apologize. People use credit because they don't want to work harder to save the money, to pay cash. I'm agreeing with it. Okay, gotcha. That's exactly the reason why they do it. They don't want to work harder. You're right. I apologize for that, Brian. It is it's a trip. I mean, but you know, if they can sell people they sell people their futures. Hey, don't you want your future to look like this? Yeah, we'll sell it to you. It's crazy how commercials work. You know, you see it every day. If you watch a commercial, they're selling you things that will never happen. The future that probably everybody wants, the big house, nice this, that, car, that, blah, blah, blah. We'll sell it to you. You can get it now. You don't have to wait that long. You can get what you want now. You just pay us with your future earnings. That's it. You can get out of debt faster now. How? You just borrow our money. If you borrow our money, you pay. They just start throwing numbers in there. You pay less interest than your other master. Let me be your master. You're probably asking, how can you be my master? I'll lower my percentage rate. Now, instead of paying 15%, I'll let you pay 10%. Now I'm your master. Okay, master. Anyway, we're gonna end this today. All right. Oh wait. Defend My Biz says losing weight is a great analogy. Everyone knows on some level that you need to work out, eat right, work out hard, eat right, but that's hard. So people come up with all kinds of schemes to avoid the hard truth. Yeah, it is this. And you know what's so crazy? It's even, you think about how it is to lose weight, how hard it is just to lose body weight, right? You know, hey, I got to just eat right. And I know if I work out more, blah, 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 right? Times that by 10 with people's money. And honestly, this is why I chose it, because I remember you remember I started out with my body stuff. Food ain't my daddy, right? But you know why? You know why I stopped that? I stopped because there was too many people in there that could just throw in myths like eat this, buy that, wear this, take this pill, take that pill, eat this food, don't eat that food. There was too many. Like if you're trying to lose weight and you don't know how, that means you don't know who to really trust, right? You can just go by the way they look or, whatever, right? But when it comes to finances, it cannot be lied. You cannot lie about it because it's mathematics. This is why I chose it, honestly. I'm like, wait a minute. Now I'm doing something that nobody can throw in a facade to discredit me or say I'm wrong or that's not true, because I can always prove it with mathematics. I can always prove it. Though I knew it was going to be a tough road. Don't get me wrong. And it's still, I'm facing my fears now. We talked about that already. And I'm breaking through another fear this weekend. Got to get it done. It's on my vision board. Once it's on my vision board, I can't fail myself. So I write on opt-in video on the vision board. This is how I'm gonna do it, and it's got to be done this weekend. So for me, when I see stuff like that, I can't go past deadlines, especially on myself. So that's why I'm glad I have my vision board. Because it's weird I remember people used to always say, write it down, and you don't really understand what that means, but because in your head you can dismiss it really easy. But if it's wrote on the board and you're reading and you wrote it there for a reason. What are you going to do? Fail yourself? No, I'm not going to go past the deadline on myself. So it doesn't even matter how it comes out as long as I do it, because I'm only going to get better each time I do it. All right, you guys, we're going to wrap this up here. I just wanted to talk about that. Just to follow up sort of on velocity banking. And thank you for Denzel for jumping in. If you're still in, appreciate you. Defend my biz. Hyphy, thank you as always. Cosmic, thank you for sharing your story. King of Kings, Derek, I hope I helped you. King of Kings, Derek Ochoa. Gabriel, Jennifer, Sharif. You guys have a wonderful day. All right, have a wonderful Friday. Bye-bye.